Look at this guy. He was going to make us so happy in 2017. We had a banner outside of the arena. He was going to play in Miami. We all were ready for him, and instead he betrayed us. And we're happy for him, though.
No, not so much. Like, respectfully, piece of shit move, Gordon.
Whoa, wow. That's not how you start.
Welcome. Thank you for everything you've done. But come on, what were you doing down here in Miami?
That's not
what you do, Billy. You lie and you say you're happy for him.
Guys. What an amateur. That is not how you start a piece of shit move, Billy.
I didn't say he was a piece of shit. I just said it was a piece of shit move. Yeah.
After 14 seasons with the best haircut in the NBA, playing for the Jazz, the Celtics, the Hornets, the Thunder, not the Heat, he is here for an exclusive exit interview because he's retired. His production company, Whiskey Creek, has a movie coming out on September 27th. It's called Notice to Quit. And Gordon Hayward is with us. And while we kid, Gordon, we did want you down here in Miami. We were very excited about that. So thank you for joining us. How close were you to coming here? Can you take us through sort of what the process was that broke our hearts down here?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. That was a super tough decision. I basically visited 3 teams. I started with Miami, then did Boston, then finished, with Utah, meeting with all those teams. And I remember vividly telling my agent after each meeting, so I started with Miami and I'm like, I want to go to Miami. We don't even need to do the other meetings. Miami's the place I want to be, and he kind of was like, well, we got to hear everyone out. The Heat have always been a first-class organization. So I was really, really close to signing there. I feel like Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the league, and obviously Pat Riley is legendary in his own right. And I was very close. Also my brother-in-law lives in Miami. My wife would have loved living there and then the beach and everything, but ultimately decided to go to Boston.
Well, take us through how your mind changed after each meeting. What was happening? Because the Heat brought you Riley, Spo, Zoe, Juwan Howard, Udonis. They put on a full court press.
They did, yeah. You got all the inside information, huh?
I mean, they really wanted you here.
That's how they do it.
They usually, in fact, you kind of represent when they started swinging and missing on the big names they were going after, because they know how to do that. They're very good at luring people. So what changed over the process?
They got LeBron.
Yeah. Well, it was reuniting with Brad. I mean, Brad was the one that sold it. It's hard to compete with, somebody that I played under at Butler and he had a huge impact on my life, not just as a player, but also a person. So, that was kind of the key thing, was being able to go play for him again.
Stugotz, do you remember that time, the excitement in Miami? It was July 4th weekend. It was Gordon Hayward mania down here.
Yep.
People were going insane, and then there was no way to lose him. The Godfather made a speech. Did Riley throw his rings on the table? Did he do the move?
Classic move.
Did he do the move to you that he did in 2010 to get LeBron?
Yeah, he did all the moves. It was nothing. The Heat did it all right. Like I said, I was ready to join after that meeting. It would have been 3 great choices, honestly, with either of those teams.
The person to blame is the agent here, Dan, because he was ready to sign with Miami. The agent insisted that he go to Boston. I mean, if you're looking for someone to blame that.
Yeah, blame Mark. Mark Bartlett.
Yeah, that's why they exist, to absorb the blame on behalf of their prodigious talents. You were also a tennis prodigy. So how close? Explain to me how your life would have been different, or how good you were at tennis if you had chosen that as the obsession instead of basketball.
Yeah, I think the tennis thing might have been a little overstated, but I was definitely better at tennis in high school than I was basketball. It's not saying too much. I'm from Indianapolis, so it's that Central Indy tennis isn't necessarily the best in the country, but yeah, I mean, my height would have definitely helped me out. Playing like a guy like John Isner, I served and volleyed, had a big serve. Still, I'm getting more into tennis, now, but. I love basketball more. Basketball was my love. It's Hoosiers. Have you guys seen the movie Hoosiers? High school basketball in Indiana is like everything. So and thankfully I grew too. I was only 5'11" as a freshman in high school. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if I want to play a sport in college, basketball might not be the route. My parents are both 5'10", like 5'10" white guy here. I don't know if basketball is going to be the ticket, but, thankfully I grew and, then my game kind of took off, but certainly was thinking about hanging it up for tennis.
You weren't very good at basketball in high school. Who is that? Let's introduce us to who the dog is. What are the details of the dog?
Did you guys hear?
Yeah,
sorry about that. That is our German Shepherd, Knight. He's an all-black German Shepherd, so somebody must not be taking care of him right now.
Oh, somebody in the house is in trouble. Who's responsible?
Likes to blame everyone.
Whose responsibility is Knight? You weren't that good at basketball, though? Like, what were your dreams in high school? What were your dreams? You didn't think you could be an NBA player yet?
I just was a late bloomer. I was wasn't very recruited. Like I actually only had offers from Butler and IUPUI, had a really late offer from Purdue. So, it's not like I was getting recruited everywhere. We won state in high school. I had another player on my team, one of my good friends who played at Miami of Ohio. So we won the high school championship, but like I said, I wasn't ranked like a 5-star recruit or anything. Didn't go to any of those camps that everyone else goes to. So, just a late bloomer.
At the risk of upsetting you, this is not the intention to upset you because of the way Billy started, but I just want to play the call of what would have been different and how much haunting there is because you're playing against Duke and Gordon Hayward's about to beat him. Gordon Hayward can knock off Duke as the late bloomer. Let's play that call here.
It's Hayward pulling it down, getting around Zubac at midcourt, launches the shot. Oh, it almost went in. Almost went in, and Duke is the king of the dance, 2010.
Oh, it should have gone in. It
should have gone in.
You thought it was going in.
You thought it was going in? Did you think it was going in?
You know what? I didn't think that one was going in. So there was a shot before that I took a fadeaway over Zubac. We were down, and it back rimmed. So from my vantage point, it looked like it was good. The half court shot, I wasn't trying to bank. So I thought that one was way off. And then, it kind of like banked, and I think they did like a sports science on it. It was like 3 inches to the left or right. I needed to shoot it more. So that one was really close, but I mean, it's hard to hear that for sure.
Did it haunt you at all? Like that specific shot, obviously losing a close game, you're that close to winning the championship. Everybody dreams of that stuff, but that particular shot and Stugotz's beloved game of inches, does that stay with you for a couple of days, just the shot, or a couple of years or a couple of decades?
It certainly stayed with me for a short period of time after it happened. You're thinking about what if, but to be honest, then it was, you have such a whirlwind of an experience of deciding to, leave college early and go to the draft. And then once you decide to do that, it's like, you're like constantly trying to get ready for that next level. So like, I haven't really even thought about it. I haven't had too much time to reflect. You're always thinking about what's next in your career and trying to get better and trying to do different things. So, now that I'm retired, I'll probably think about it. And you guys just started off that thinking. So maybe it's going to haunt me tonight.
Would you have stayed in Utah if you had known that Donovan Mitchell was going to be that good? Or did you have any idea that Donovan Mitchell was going to be that good?
No, I had no clue. I mean, he's, one of the best players in the NBA, especially at what he's able to do. And you never know. So it's hard to play the what if game. You can play that game too. Like, if I stay, do I get hurt? I mean, me getting hurt in Boston changed the course of my career. And so I don't play the what if game. I have no regrets of my career and the decisions that I've made. I know it was one of the toughest decisions I've ever made, as we just talked about. Miami, Utah, Boston, all really good choices. So it's hard to make that decision.
What do you regard as the most fun you've had playing basketball? Like, what is the period that you look at and say, that was the best time, that felt like the best time to be me? That was the most fun. It was least pressurized and more fun.
Yeah. High school basketball in Indiana, man. I tell people this all the time. Like, you take it for granted because you just don't know when you're doing it, but being able to play with like your boys, there's nothing more fun. I feel like in whatever sport you do, or even whatever job you have, if you're able to do it with like your friends and like your best friends, you're in school with them, you're going to class, you're going to parties, you're going to all this other stuff with your friends, and you're also playing basketball. And being from Indiana, like I told you, we had huge crowds. Our gyms in high school gyms in Indiana are huge. So playing in front of those crowds too is something special. So that was probably the most fun that I ever had playing basketball. Not to say that the other moments weren't fun, but there's nothing like, high school basketball.
That does seem crazy, though, because most people I would think of the NBA, hitting buzzer beaters in the pros. Those crowds are also very big. So what is the distinction that you're making and looking back at it? More carefree? Because all of a sudden, when you get to Boston, there's pressure as soon as you arrive because it's a different experience.
It's a business. I mean,
it is a business, and it's different in the sense of, like I said, you're playing with your friends. You're going to class with these people. You're hanging out when it's not basketball season. Also, all the students that are in the section, you see them too, and they're cheering you on. You've got the cheerleaders. The gyms are way more like in your face. And so you kind of like know the region or like the players around you. So you have these little rivalries and all this stuff. And certainly, like I said, hitting a buzzer beater in the NBA too is amazing. I mean, we won Game 7 in LA against the Clippers, and that was awesome. Silencing the crowd is a feeling like no other. But for me, that just high school basketball, I like here's a good example for you. So like when we won, I hit a last second shot to win the state title, and our whole town was there. I grew up in a suburb of Indy, so the whole town was there. They all we had a police escort back to our home gym. The whole town goes to the gym. We have a pep session. I actually it's my birthday, like when it strikes midnight. And so the whole crowd sings happy birthday to me. So it's like special moments like that you can never really have in the NBA.
Can you take us through the early parts of your career and what some of the meanest things other players said in trash talk while playing against you? It's tough to start in the NBA. So when you have to earn your respect, who are some of the legends that are trying to diminish you and you're like, I can't believe that person just said that to me. I just started out here.
Yeah, there was the one that always sticks in my mind is we were playing in the Garden, and KG was, as everyone's already said, I mean, he's a legendary trash talker, and he was guarding me, and I got a switch, and I tried to attack him, and I couldn't go anywhere. So then he kind of starts clapping and getting how he would get in his defensive stance, and I backed it up and went back at him and scored, and then I was kind of barking at him down the court, and I think he respected me after that because before, I'm just this little white kid coming from suburban Indianapolis. There was a lot of trash talk that I probably can't repeat on here towards me. But when I kind of barked back at him, he respected that, and it was good ever since then.
Oh, but I got to imagine you've got all the stories about being underestimated as the white guy who has to make his way in this world. Like Nick Collison told us the story. He runs out on the court and it's always shooter, shooter, shooter. And he's like, I'm not a shooter.
Right.
I can't shoot. Why are you saying that? But you're fighting your way through an ecosystem that offers all sorts of disrespect at the beginning that you have to overcome.
Absolutely. I always say, no matter what, and even this happened throughout my career. It's for whatever reason, when you see the white guy guarding you, it's let's ISO him and go at him. And so you gotta hope that you get a stop that first time, or else they're just going to keep going at you every single time. And I definitely wasn't the worst defender on the team, but for whatever reason, checking the game and going at him. We're going right at him.
That's the game plan. That's what you're saying. The advanced scouting is just ISO the white guy.
I'm telling you, there's just some sort of stereotype. It's people's eyes light up. I can tell you I remember, and this probably didn't necessarily have to do with the fact that I was white, but maybe it was my face and hair and everything. But when we played the Lakers, I think it was preseason, one of the years, and they had Ron Artest, and I checked in the game, and he looks at me and then looks back at Kobe and looks at me, and he's like, hey, Kobe. And he's pointing at me just throw me the ball in the post, man. Look who's guarding me. I got Bieber guarding me. And sure enough, he just posted me up, and Ron Artest was really good, and had no chance guarding me. I think he put me out, sat right back down,
I got Bieber. I got Bieber guarding me.
Yeah.
He's proud of it too, telling that story.
I don't know.
He's saying it with a smile. I mean,
what can you do at that point?
Nothing.
What am I going to do? What am I going to say to Ron Artest? You know what I mean? I was definitely not trying to fight that guy.
You mentioned Kobe, and I knew you drew some inspiration, like many did, from Kobe Bryant. What kind of impact did he have for you on the court and off the court?
Yeah, I mean, Kobe was a mentor for me. I don't know if you guys heard, I went on Paul George's podcast and told a bunch of stories about him, but just having a chance to work out with him in the offseason, having him, kind of in my phone for phone calls away, text messages away, emails, that meant the world. And I think everyone saw his work ethic and just his mentality, and inspired a lot of people, and certainly inspired me as well.
I did hear some of the stories you told with Paul George. I believe Derek Fisher and Rick Fox have told us stories as teammates of his where he would test you to the point that you'd have to be willing to fight him before you got his respect. Like, as a teammate, what do you regard as your best basketball war story? Does it involve Kobe or does it involve somebody else? If you had to show off one of the stories from your war chest that always is a hit at parties when people meet Gordon Hayward because they want to hear about some of the stuff that happens inside that only you guys know about.
Well, my Kobe stories are probably my go-to, which I've told before, but there was I remember when I was in Utah, I had this like marketing scheme. I play League of Legends. I was talking to one of your guys, backstage guys, about it. But I put out a tweet or an Instagram or something about being the best. Like, I can beat anybody one-on-one in the NBA. Like, I can beat LeBron one-on-one, but I was like teasing, saying like in League of Legends. And we happened to play them like a week afterwards. And I got a text from somebody from Cleveland saying like, dude, why'd you do that? Like, LeBron's talking about it. Like, why would you like piss him off out of all people? And we go and play the game, and I kind of went back and forth with them and ended up hitting a game winner against them at home in Utah. And so that was pretty cool feeling.
As we speak here, Lauri Markkanen has just signed a $230 million contract with Utah. You were born too early, Gordon. You got plenty of money, but when you see some of what it is that's happening in the NBA financially right now, your thoughts are generally what?
Great time to be an NBA player, for sure. I was extremely blessed with the time that I even came in with the contracts that I was able to get. So it's a good time to be, an NBA fan, good time to be an NBA player. Game's definitely growing. So happy for everybody that gets these types of contracts. Lauri's a really good player.
Yes, he is. We're going to put up a picture here of you in 2020, this mustache. And you look like the original Celtic is what the tweet is.
Like the first one?
Yes, the very first one.
Awesome.
The original one. You look like you were in a barbershop quartet as well. What is happening here?
Great.
It looks so good. You seem delighted by that look. What is happening here?
So you like that look?
Oh, yeah.
It's wonderful,
awesome.
but it's aggressively ironic, I'm assuming. You're doing this purposely to enrage the people who love you.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about that is for whatever reason, all like a bunch of guys are the ones that comment that they love it, and all the women are like, you look so stupid, you look creepy. Like, my wife hates that. She hated that, and I really was doing it to annoy her because this was in the bubble that I had this. So there was a bunch of people that just for whatever reason were skipping barbers and stuff. So that was certainly a unique look. That was one of my favorite looks.
But what did your wife have to say about that?
She hated it. She's like, I'm not kissing you with that. Like.
They always say that. They always say that. Then they come around, Gordon. My wife says the same thing when I have rocked the mustache, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, she wants to give me a kiss. What do you want me to do?
Okay. Yeah. They'll come around, huh?
It doesn't sound like she came around. It doesn't sound.
You had to shave it off.
It sounds like.
Yeah, I'm not rocking it anymore. So
it doesn't sound like your experience was the same as Tony's there. I have not heard you talk, and I don't wish to bring up a sore subject, but when you say your career was altered by that injury in Boston, I really was heartbroken for you to get 5 minutes into your career in Boston and suffer that injury, which just seemed horrific. And I don't imagine, I saw a photo of Alex Smith the other day and his leg. I don't assume that your career was the same after that, because I don't assume your body works the same after that, no matter the healing properties of youth. What can you tell us about that heartbreak? Because to be betrayed by your body when your body has carried you to all sorts of confidence and it's just a random thing, I don't know how someone endures something like that.
Yeah, that was tough. It was certainly a play that I did like once a game. Me and Joe Ingles had a connection where he'd throw me an alley-oop, and it was a play that I did for a long time, and it was just same type of play and freak accident and stuff like that. It happens in basketball, so no ill will towards anybody on how it happened. But yeah, I mean, it was certainly tough. I mean, your body has to change and try to adapt, and I can't say for certain, but I basically was like almost 100% healthy through my first 7 years with the Jazz and in my career. And then after that injury, it seemed like I had another injury like every year since, and a lot of them on that same side too. So, I mean, it's your body changes and tries to adapt, and the doctors did a tremendous job just getting me back out on the court and able to run again. Because, in the moment, it's like, I'm thinking to myself, like, am I going to be able to run again? Like, am I going to be able to play with my kids? Like, what? Just because my ankle is just dangling, like it's just dangling there. And, I think just for me to be able to get out on the court again was triumph for me in and of itself. But just had to put a lot of effort and work to try to just get back to where I was.
When you watch Boston win the championship, are you happy for Boston? Because
his friend Brad, right?
Some people there, or is it bittersweet because you also you had dreams of doing that there? Yeah.
I think if you would have asked me like the year I left, I would have been like pissed off about it, like rooting against them. But I still have so many good relationships in Boston with the people that are there. So I was rooting for him. Joe Mazzulla was an assistant when I was there, and he's awesome. Me and him were really close. JT and I also were really close. And so a lot of those guys, you're just obviously Brad moving to be the GM. Certainly I wish it would have happened when I was there. We had the talent to make it happen when I was there. But it's hard to win in the NBA and to get the right formula. Like there's just little things that have to go your way. And, I think they're going to be obviously favorites for years to come. They just are they're in that window right now where everything's lining up.
On the flip side, when you see the Heat win the Summer League championship, you regret not coming here. More recent one.
I didn't even know the Heat won the
Summer
League. Yeah, right.
Oh, that is. You're doing
same here,
a lot of stuff with your retirement. It can be very difficult to find your way after making your identity for as long as you have as an athlete. It's a really hard thing, retirement. You've got a production company, as I mentioned. Notice to Quit is the film. It's From Whiskey Creek. It's in theaters September 27th. What are you doing with both your production company and your retirement?
Yeah, I've always been interested in movies, and so I'm looking forward to telling stories and making movies. As you mentioned, we got this movie Notice to Quit coming out, starring Michael Zegan, Casa Bella Suarez. Simon Hacker wrote and directed it. He actually was the guy who did my comeback documentary for the Players Tribune. He's super talented. If you've ever seen Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the show, Joel Maisel, that's Michael Zegan. He's the lead. He's amazing. And, this film is about kind of like, it's about father-daughter relationships, kind of like work balance relationships, something that I completely understand, and kind of figuring out what's important in life. And takes place set in New York and in the summertime. And so everyone's got to go out and see it. Like you said, September 27th is when it comes out. So I'm super proud of the movie and, everything that we were able to accomplish. And so I'm looking forward to getting everyone a chance to see it.
Did you have work-life balance as a player? To be as good as you were tends to take an obsessive compulsiveness that doesn't allow for many other things.
You're exactly right. And I tried to do the best that I could. I think my wife is the real star, as I think every athlete would tell you, with a family, with kids. Like, she was unbelievable in allowing me to, kind of do my thing. But what I did was I kind of learned this from Kobe a little bit, was I got my work in super early. So I was working out at 5 a.m. so I could be done at 9. So then I could kind of have the rest of the day to hang with the family and be with them, especially in the off season. And that's when you get the most time to kind of be with them. During the season, you're all over the place, and mentally too, you're so locked in. That's what makes it tough about, you're just constantly thinking about the game you just played, thinking about the next game, you're traveling, all that stuff. So I am looking forward to being more around with my kids and being more around with my family and getting a chance to do more with the movie. I'm going to go to Skywalker Ranch and do kind of some of the final sound editing with Simon. And so getting a chance to do those things, I'm really looking forward to.
Notice to Quit, again, is the name of the movie from Whiskey Creek. It's in theaters September 27th. His wife is the reason for all his success. He thanks her with a mustache that she doesn't want to be anywhere near.
By annoying her.
Yes, that is correct. Gordon, thank you for being on with us. And no thank you for breaking our hearts in Miami on July 4th in 2017. I'm sorry that my producer started the interview by, saying it was piece of shit behavior.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you.
See you later. Thank you.
Is today Thursday? Because I think I misread this calendar.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Look
See?
at that.
I mean,
I thought today was
crazy.
Thursday.
Wish today was
The
Thursday.
400-meter final hurdles for women is Thursday at 15:25.
Well, hold on.
See,
Okay.
15:25.
Is it
What
15?
time is that, right?
15:25.
But 15:25, their 15:25 or our 15:25?
Right.
I think it's all
15:25.
15:25s.
It's our 15:25.
See, but that's the thing.
Isn't it all the
because
same 15:25? That's why we do it, because it's 24 hours. Everybody knows
You
15.
think
No,
that,
hold
you
on
think
a
that
second. Wait,
24-hour
hold on.
clock
How do you think
has
this
no
works?
time?
Wait,
You don't know
guys,
anything called
clearly,
time
guys,
zones. You
guys,
clearly
there
don't
are
know
like
how it
five
works.
time zones. Clear out. Tony's going to explain to us military time here. How does
You
it?
clearly don't know how it works.
So everyone is on the same time in the
24-hour
24
clock.
hours?
Yeah, everybody's on the same time. It's just obviously the time zones differ. But is it their 15:25 or is it our 15:25 or is it both 15:25s? I don't know.
When it's 15:25 here, is it 12:25 in LA?
Wait, Stugotz and Tony, what time
Yes.
do you guys think 15:25 is? Right here. If I tell you here, it's
15:25.
15:25.
When the hurdles are.
What time?
Tomorrow, though.
Hurdle time.
Tomorrow.
It's hurdle time. Okay, very good.
I know what time it is, Dan. Do you know what time it is?
I do. It's time for Against the Spread.
Against. No.
Well done,
I
man.
wanted to beat him to the punch there. Damn. But of course, he doesn't have the computer working.
Dan, as you mentioned, it's time for Against the Spread. And it's sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
What do you guys got? Who is betting what on Against the Spread? Are you guys ready for Against the Spread? Or
We have
are
a
you
couple
not ready?
games today. I have a game. Tony has a game. Stugotz has a game. I believe Jess has a game. And I think
All right.
Roy may have a
Wow,
game.
that's
a lot.
Do you have a game?
Okay.
Do you have a game?
I
You
do
have
not.
a
Lot of games.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll start off with Tony.
Guys, in men's hoops here at the Olympics, host country France got the little Twin Towers working with Wemby and with Rudy Gobert. They are +5 against the German national team.
Wow.
I like the home dog here. I mean, everybody's in France. I don't know what they say, but
So-
go
so
France.
money
go
line,
France.
you like
Ale.
them?
I'm taking +5 against the spread.
All right.
I'm taking France
Okay,
+5. Home cooking. Hopefully they can get the refs a little greased. And
What?
What? Who said that?
What?
France +5 against the spread.
Against the Spread. Stugotz?
The White Sox are hot. They play
No.
the A's today. They've won one straight. One of their last 24. I am going to ride this team.
I think it's one of their last 22. right?
Whatever.
'Cause they had a 21-game losing streak, and then they won one.
So 22 of 23, they lost 22 straight. But you know what happens? They never, as a team, lost 22 straight, come out of that losing streak, and then not won more than 2 or 3 games straight, ever. In the history of baseball, it's never happened before. A team that has a 22-game losing streak, whenever that happens,
It's a 21-game losing streak.
whenever that happens, 20, 21, 22, it doesn't matter. What they do is they win the next 2. And
does
so this
matter.
is the second
does
one.
matter.
The White Sox +64 at roughly 15.25 today. The White Sox +164 against the spread.
What time is that?
Accuracy still matters.
15.25-ish.
Roy?
Olympic women's basketball. The United States of America is playing Nigeria, and the spread right now is the United States are favored to win by 28.5 points.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Big
points.
spread.
So that's why I got to go with Nigeria. It's just too big. Just too big.
What happened the
Against
other
the
day
spread.
in the
Against the
United
spread.
States men against Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico was a 33-point dog. Who ended up covering that? Juju was advising that we bet Puerto Rico in that spot, and I don't know how that game finished up or what.
It was a pretty big blowout, if I recall.
But
I
33? You don't
number.
remember whether it was 33 or not? Billy, do you have one here?
I do, Dan. Doubleheader today in New York. The Yankees and the Angels. In the first game, we have D. Daniel versus Luis Hill. Davis Daniel, that is. Now, he had a nice performance his last time out. A bit of a rough patch before that. 2 bad games. He gave up 7 earned runs and 4 earned runs. Now, Luis Hill, as you know, hot start to the season. He had a little bit of a rough patch in June and the beginning of July, but he's back on track. And you know what they say? If someone with your dad's name is pitching against the Angels, you always take them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to take him minus 1.5 over the Angels today against the spread.
The United States beat Puerto Rico 104-83.
All right, so Juju got that one right. I would suggest on Juju's Thursday Thunders just betting them individually because he goes
that's not
2
how
of
Thursday
3.
Thunder
I'm just saying, you can do it that way. You're allowed.
No.
Does anyone else have any betting advice?
I had one, but Roy took it. I was going to take Nigeria to cover.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The spread.
Okay, I'm glad we organized it. I'm glad we
All
planned
right.
it. I'm glad that we're in a
We got
contract
that.
here, and that is what we're giving you as gambling
28
information.
points is too many.
When someone with your dad's name is pitching, you always bet them against
You
the
did
Angels.
give them
Grease the
that.
refs and
Against
home.
the spread.
Thank you. I appreciate all your work. Can we play, please, the aforementioned audio of Mad Dog Russo learning that Billy Beane, a Major League Baseball player who played for 6 different teams, and this was a gut punch yesterday. I'm not kidding you, Stugotz, and this has been happening so much lately. But I knew Billy Beane, and oddly, because I was with my wife when this happened, and she saw me like physically, visibly disoriented by it because Billy Beane, it's not just that I knew him, Stugotz, it's that my entire life, think about the mortality of this one. My entire life that I've known Billy Beane, and I've known him, I'm going to say, a quarter of a century, I have thought of him as a young person. That he always seems young because he's a peer of mine. He just died at 60 after a fight with leukemia. But anytime I've ever seen him, I'm like, that dude looks so young because he took such good care of himself. And so to hear that yesterday was just brutal. Rob Manfred had some nice quotes about Billy Beane where he said everyone liked him, everyone respected him. But Chris Mad Dog Russo thought the more famous Billy Beane, the one who was the groundbreaking Moneyball general manager of the Oakland A's, was the one who had died. So Chris Mad Dog Russo gave the eulogy for the wrong Billy Beane.
The word that we're getting right now is that the general manager of the A's, Billy Beane, may have passed away. Wow. Was he ill? Wasn't aware of this. I mean, he's not that old. Jeez, was it sudden? We'll see if we can get some information. Wow, that is a terrible story. With Billy Beane of the A's, I don't know anything about it. This is the first I've heard. He's an historic general manager. Billy fought an heroic year-long battle with acute leukemia. That's the wrong Billy Beane. That's not the Billy Beane from the A's. Last 10 years, Billy worked passionately and tirelessly with MLB and all 30 clubs, focusing on player education. He played 10-year playing career with 6 teams. That's the different Billy Beane. Still a terrible story, but that's not the Billy Beane. That's not the Beane of the A's. That's the Billy Beane who worked for Major League Baseball. So it's a different Billy Beane. So we apologize if we got that screwed up. This is a different Billy Beane. This is not the Billy Beane of the A's. This is the Billy Beane who works in Major League Baseball. So, and important, I'm not trying to make light of it, but it's a different one. So there you have it. Okay. Well, I apologize for screwing that up.
Too soon, obviously, to laugh at that, but I can't help but laugh at that because Billy is enjoying the anarchy.
It's sad.
That.
It's sad.
Of course, it's sad. I'm also just wondering or hoping that the first 15 seconds of that someone who cares about Oakland A's Billy Beane doesn't happen to also listen to Mad Dog Radio, because that's a horrific 15 seconds. Not that it's good for anybody who loves a Billy Beane of any kind.
Right, doesn't matter.
But those 15 seconds, if you're happening to get that news from Mad Dog Russo.
What if Billy was getting that news from Mad Dog Russo?
I can tell you it was worse than that when it happened, because those 15 seconds, we cleaned that up a bit, lasted about 90 seconds, where he was just kind of talking in circles, waiting to get more information on Oakland A's Billy Beane passing away, who did not pass away.
At the beginning of that, he said, let's see if we can get some more information. Well, he got it.
He did.
He did say may have.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, right at the top.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is the great qualifier. I will say to everyone listening, though, for those of you who do not know about the Billy Beane who actually passed away, that his work in the LGBTQ plus community was groundbreaking throughout baseball, and he was just a human rights activist that did something important and pioneering, because he came from a time where you had to be super hidden on that, and so the way that he advocated for others is among the many things I will remember about him. But he was and I hate that I'm using the past tense on this, a vibrant, important young person. And so I didn't want to skip past today without talking about how that one got me.
It got you good, huh? Like, because I told Abby when I heard of the news, I said, "Wow, that's going to hurt Dan badly," because Dan respected him. Dan was friendly with him.
But the thing that's different from all the other recent deaths, Stugotz, is I really do a word association with him. With that is youth. That is
Sure.
He looks like vibrant youth. Something happened during the break here. Roy came in here, and I don't know if he was concerned for Stugotz, but he was delighted. He was excited because he's like, Dan, when I was watching the hot take hand cam, I noticed that Stugotz's thumb was really dirty. Now, Stugotz has had yellow fingers here for a while because of the heaters.
Better now, though.
And Stugotz said to Roy, not defensively, but just in the pursuit of accuracy, that is not cigarettes, Roy. Yelled him out of the room. That's Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
And then he proceeded to put his thumb in his mouth.
I did, yeah. I mean, the dust.
Right.
Stugotz,
Tasted like cigarettes, but
gross. I saw a story yesterday that made me think of you. Charlie Hull said that there's a smoking ban at the Olympics, and she's worried that it might screw up her chances of winning gold because smoking cigarettes helps with her ADHD, which I believe she told us when we had her on the show a few months ago. So I just...
She also said she was trying to quit. I mean...
That's true. She did say that, too.
You've been saying that one, too.
We all say it, Dan.
It's unusually self-destructive in 2024 to be smoking cigarettes.
I did quit. I'm smoking Cheetos now.
Calais, can you hear us?
I can.
Oh, it's so nice to hear that voice.
He makes me smile.
It's so nice to see that face. Look at him. He is now an old, wily veteran. We have known him since he was a young man. Stugotz, I am a terrible talent evaluator. Terrible. But I saw him play at the University of Miami. I'm like, oh, nobody's ever going to be able to block that. That's not something that can be blocked. It's too big, it's too strong, and it's too fast. And Stugotz.
And it's always smiling. I mean,
yes, it is pretty happy unless you have to try and block him and he wants your quarterback, and unless you get in his way on the way to the Hall of Fame, because he's absolutely a Hall of Famer. He has been ransacking and sacking people for a really long time, and it has been a sheer delight, Calais, to see you wreck everybody in that league for what seems like now 100 years. You are you're the sixth oldest player in the league. Can you even believe that when I say it to you? And thank you for joining us. We're happy to see that this story, I'm assuming, ends in Miami, but maybe you'll play for another 40 years.
You know, I think it's poetic, to come back to Miami, 20 years from when I first stepped on campus at the University of Miami. It's crazy. Time flies, but I love it. It doesn't really feel like work. I get to just come to work and be a big kid every day and go out here and have fun playing football.
Can you tell us the story of like what it meant to you emotionally when you started seeing that you might be able, again, I don't want to end your career before it's ending, but I just thought it was a perfect dismount for you to come home.
Yeah, I feel like it was a perfect time. I had other offers and, other places, I think were respectable teams, but, the Dolphins just made a lot of sense. And, definitely has just that, just nostalgic, like just being here in the city, the amount of love I had when I was playing here in college ball, and just, my love for the city and the fan base here, it made sense. And hopefully we make it count. I think this team is special, man. We got some playmakers, and the way we've been practicing, the mentality that we've had. You got a little chip on the shoulder, which I love. I appreciate. I'm hoping that I could just, make this year a real special year.
Were the other offers better, or how does that work when you're making the decision emotionally on where to choose? Is it just, this place will pay me the most, or no, I'm willing to go back to Miami no matter what?
Yeah, this is the cheapest offer I had by a large margin.
Wow.
Relatively speaking, I mean, but I definitely, I always said I played this game. The money didn't really matter. I played for, essentially free because I loved it that much. Now, that's game day. Obviously, there's other stuff you gotta, it's a little different. It's a little too hard to do for free. But I turned down some real money, to come here because I believe. And, and Coach McDaniel, I believe in, Coach Weaver, and just the talent we have on the team. I just feel like this is a chance, my best shot at winning the Super Bowl, and that's the ultimate goal for me.
Who were the people that you called when you made the decision on Miami where you were most excited to share the news with them?
Well, it took me a while to make the decision. I was weighing offers for a while and kind of going back and forth. And so I definitely leaned on my support team. But once I finally made the decision and I was coming back to Miami, but I come back here a lot. I'm in here every offseason. I already had a place here, so it was really easy. But I definitely, my phone was blowing up. All my Miami crew, like, oh man, you coming back? Is it real? Is this real? And I'm like, yeah, we make it happen. It's gonna be a great year. But it has to make sense. All that stuff is great, but for me, this is, football. Football is number one, always will be. And I believe that this team is poised to be a force to be reckoned with. And, obviously the AFC is a gauntlet. I mean, you got so many teams that are capable of winning the Super Bowl and have all the right pieces in place, and they're working just as hard as we're working. And so, we got our hands full. But, I think we got a shot.
Calais, I love you, but easier to take less money after you've made $140 million, right?
Oh, come on.
He said yes. He said yes.
Very true.
Yeah, thank you.
We're not going to sit here and act like that, walk around, only made league minimum most of my career. I got a chance to make some real money. Business. This is definitely business, but we're 100% right on that one.
When you got into the league, if I had told you your expectations, have you exceeded them? Because I'm not sure you had Hall of Fame on your dream list when you came out of college, did you?
If I'm being honest with you, that definitely was on my list of things. Like I've always had, high expectations for myself. I really, I feel like ever since I was 13, and I told myself I made a commitment that I wanted to be in the NFL and I was going to do everything possible to get to the NFL. The Hall of Fame was on my mind, and I didn't really know much about the Hall of Fame. I didn't know how it worked. I just knew that if there was a place for the best of them, I wanted to be there. And I know that, seeing, guys go that I played with, guys I'm friends with, the last few years, and it definitely makes it a lot more surreal. Like, just like, wow, these guys are really like, going to the Hall of Fame. It just makes me feel like I have a shot. I know, for me, my mindset is like, do more to try to make sure that it's undeniable that you have a better shot. But but at the beginning of my career, I had goals to break the sack record too. I wanted to get to 200. 201 was my goal. And that's not going to happen.
200. Wait a minute. I'm putting you in the Hall of Fame because you've gotten to 100. You got 105 and a half sacks for your career.
It's going to be a pretty big year.
Probably lead the league in sacks if he does it.
I think so, perhaps. Although I'd watch Watt. 94 and a half sacks is all that he would need to get to 200 this year. But do you have a photograph or anywhere that getting to 100? Is it commemorated anywhere?
Oh yeah. The 100 sack club was like, that's once I got to the NFL and realized like how hard it was to get sacks and how hard it was to just be a great player in this league. Because in college, you could just out-athlete people. I was just a better athlete, and I can go out there and win without no technique, no moves, just pure effort and want to. Then I get to the NFL, and it's like, okay, no, this is real. This is the real deal. And I realized that, okay, I might not be able to get 200. Maybe we'll see. But I knew it was kind of tough. But I was like, all right, could I get to that 100? And for a while there, I didn't think I was gonna get there. I was like, man, I'm gonna give my best shot. But when I finally got to that threshold, that milestone, that C note, man, it was a good feeling. And yes, I definitely captured that moment, and made sure that that's something that's going to be in my house for forever. I want to be able to brag on it with my kids, hopefully my grandkids one day if they pick up the game. And just like that's one of the hardest things to do. Very few people have done it, and it's something that I always wanted to do. So getting that C note, that was huge for me.
Who was the quarterback?
Sam Howell. Sam Howell. And it was a 2-minute situation because so many times I got close. Right, I got 99. I was stuck at 99. I hit the quarterback like 12 times, but I could not get the sack. And I'm sitting here like, you got them wrapped up and they're throwing the ball away. I had Deshaun Watson, the year before, and like he just just threw the ball away to nobody. Like it's like it's more beneficial for you to just take the sack than to throw that. But Sam Howell was a 2-minute situation before half. He didn't want us to get the ball back, to go get more points before halftime. So he just took the sack, which was a very smart, coachable thing to do.
Calais, before my question, I want to commend you and Greg Olson as out of like that whole crop of newer school Canes that didn't have like the national title success. You guys get really involved in the program, so it's great to have you down here in Miami, get to see you at more games. But you've had this amazing career. You've played with so many great players, and I'm wondering, between Larry Fitzgerald, Lamar Jackson, who just did something physically in practice where you're like, I know I'm gifted, that dude's on another tier?
I done seen some spectacular plays in practice. Really, Tyreek Hill is out here balling right now. And it's just like, wow, he's 30 years old and still rolling and catching everything. He's diving on the ground for balls. It kind of reminds me of the Larry Fitzgerald days. But that 2008 year when we went to the Super Bowl in Arizona, Larry Fitzgerald had so many incredible catches in games, but in practice, it was every week he was doing something way better. It was like, you think that was dope? You should see the practice he had on Wednesday. The catch he had on Wednesday was like, I seen him like land on his head, flipping, like it's just like, it's practice. I don't know if he should be going that hard, but he set a standard, that I could follow suit on, and I think that helped me be able to have the career I've had because I seen this, superstars practice, and you realize that when guys are gifted and blessed the way some of these really good players are, and you have that work ethic, that grind, those are the guys that become the Hall of Famers. So I've been lucky to play with a few of them, but Larry Fitzgerald definitely takes the cake on that one.
I've got a ton of questions for him because I really have been an admirer for a long time of just really the craftsmanship of what he does, because it's not just all strength. You just really have to be obsessively dedicated to being great at that because it's so hard. Like, it's all 2.5 seconds and the ball's out. It's really hard to get sacks.
It's never been
days.
Harder to excel at what he does.
It's just absurd.
At a Hall of Fame level.
And he's been so great at it for so long. So let me ask you, if I say one trait above all others, your speed, strength, will, what one trait is what makes you a Hall of Famer if you can only pick one?
Ooh, it's a really good question. Oh, man. I think when it comes down to it, though, I think you have to have the mentality, the mentality that, I'm not going to let this guy block me. I don't care, how good he is, what, the scouts say about him or the reports and the coaches talk about him. I don't care about what the scenario is. Like, I'm just not gonna let this guy block me. This mentality you gotta have. And it's like when you're training in the off season, it's the same mentality. When the game's on the line, I gotta be the one to show up and make the play. And I can't let anybody else outwork me. It's just when you're training, you have that mentality where it's like, when I'm in these situations, I gotta be ready. I gotta be able to take advantage of my opportunities, and that starts in practice. Treating it like it's game day. And I'm out there in practice trying to bring that energy, bring that fire, and making sure that I get that quality work. So when the game day comes, it's just like it's practice. And I mean, I love studying the greats, and all the greats that I've studied. You see common denominators, but I think the number one thing that makes somebody a Hall of Famer is a mentality. You got to have that mentality where, like, when the game's on the line, I'm gonna be the one to make the play.
Dwight Freeney had that mentality, and then he faced Bryant McKinnie in the Orange Bowl, and he got stuck in his navel again and again and again. Jason Taylor had that mentality and said, I couldn't do anything against Tony Baselli. I had no chance. Anybody you've run into where you're like, I have this mentality, but this isn't working today, and it's not going to work. This person is too good at what they do. Have you run into anybody like that in your career?
I can't recall anybody. I was just like, dang, all right, this guy just got my number. I will say though that I hope a guy like Marshawn Lynch gets into the Hall of Fame, because I feel like I know when you look at all the numbers and stuff like that, usually running backs, they want to get to that 12,000 number, and he's a little short of that. But when it came to playing against him back in the day, like, I knew every time I was getting ready to tackle him, I had to bring everything I had, because he was running, full speed ahead.
Oh, wow. He went running back. He went running back instead of offensive lineman. I think it's because you refuse to give offensive linemen any credit. You will not allow, while you're still playing, any name to come out of your mouth to say that guy was better than I am. That's the only reason you went running back there.
I had a conversation with Cam Jordan a few years back, and we were talking about how, like, we don't, like, there are definitely great offensive linemen, but, when we're in the thick of I don't respect them. Like, like my mind said, no offensive lineman should block me one-on-one. I don't care who it is, and so, yeah, there are great offensive linemen, and maybe when I retire, I might be able to give you somebody who I feel like is really good. But right now, my mindset is I'm going to kill whoever you put in front of me.
But not today, Dan.
Yeah. What percentage of time, Calais, are you facing someone that you are simply saying to yourself, this person is stronger than I am?
Never.
He's physically stronger than I am.
Never.
There's definitely a couple times where I'm like, okay, I might have to use a little more finesse today. But that's rare. It really is rare. My mindset, like this whole offseason, I was just like, let me get as strong as could be, because I'm putting my hands on people.
What is an example that would explain to the layman how strong you are? I'm looking at your hands. Your hands physically are absurd. Like, just, I mean, they're very
scary.
They're just very large. So you put them on someone, yes, you're going to be throwing them around. But what is something that would explain to somebody who doesn't understand what your strength actually is, your physical strength?
When I think about it, I guess in layman's terms, I feel like I don't know, like, I feel like, just being able to pick up a car, like lift up a whole tire off the ground. I don't know if I can really do that, but in my mind, I feel like, like your baby's chucking the car, I can pick up the car, honestly, I feel like, run through a door, knock a door down straight shoulder first, Now, obviously, I've never done any of these things.
But you could do them. You're pretty sure.
You're
pretty sure you could do.
Wooden door doesn't stand a chance, Dan.
He could just run through that stuff. Is there anything other than Tyreek Hill that you're talking about, that you're seeing in Miami, that has surprised you? I'm not talking about athletic gifts, but just already in the return to Miami, joining the Dolphins, where some stuff you didn't expect about what you've signed up for here.
I will say that the effort to the ball amongst all of us on defense has been a thing of beauty. And I heard all kinds of different things when I was going through my process, and I didn't really know what to expect, but I almost, heard things like, guys don't work hard, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, I can help with that, I can help bring the edge. I get here and watch practice, and I'm like, oh, these guys working hard as could be, Javon Holland, full speed to the ball every play. Jalen Ramsey, full speed to the ball every play. To see his maturity and growth, because we played together in Jacksonville. And to see him now, I mean, he gave a speech the other day where it was like, oh man, that's what's up. Like he's come a long way. But he's a Super Bowl champ. He knows what it takes to win. And I think we all kind of see this potential. And so it's like, man, let's just do everything we can to give ourselves the best shot. Ain't no guarantees. That's football. But let's give ourselves the best shot.
Calais, put us inside your head when Tua grabs the microphone at practice and starts celebrating his contract. Like, just put us there. What were you thinking? Crazy, right?
Hey, show me the money. Crazy part about that, though, is most of the young guys on the team did not know the reference. It's
like, no.
Damn.
Oh, you must have so much stuff like that where you realize you're the old guy in the locker room. There must be stuff like that happening every day, right?
Cardinals legend Ron
Every
Tidwell.
single day is crazy. But I mean, I embrace the old guy role. It gives me like a little bit of I feel really good inside knowing that I can still do it. I can still hang with these young bucks.
Calais, while we have you, it's an opportunity to geek out over Canes football. I was privately saying that I think you, Frank, Jimmy, you might be the last Hurricane Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famers for a little bit. And if you were looking for an eye of like who might be next, and we're getting way out ahead of ourselves, but Ruben Bain has a unique pass rushing ability, and I'm wondering if you've worked with him at all, if you've talked to him. He's a guy that can play inside, he can play outside. He plays with the power, not the size, but the power that you played your game with. I'm wondering if there's any relationship there.
Yeah, I got a chance to talk to him at the Legends Camp, and we spent a lot of time together. And, I'm just talking through his mentality, like his vision, the way he sees things. And I'm super impressed because when I was his age, I have none of that. His get off and like just get off keys and the way he, angles he takes and like what he's seeing and like trying to work his moves and stuff. It's like, man, they're way more skilled today than we were back, 20 some years ago. I definitely had, the mentality and and just the mindset to go out there and just beat the guy in front of me, like, where he knows he can't block me at all. But I didn't have the skill, and so seeing Ruben, go out there and just kind of work on his craft and talk what he's seeing and stuff. And I gave him some more pointers, of course, because I've developed a lot of skill over the years now. And so, but I really think that he's going to be a special player. He definitely has a chance to be, obviously, so much has to go right, health wise, and he has to continue getting better. And I always ask guys with their what's your main goal? Is it just to make money? Because this is a great job and you can make a lot of money doing it. But the guys that I really respect are the ones that love the game. They love the competition. They want to just go out there and compete and and take somebody's will. I mean that's what the game's all about. Of course the money, all that stuff's gonna come. But when you want to go out there and compete against another worthy opponent and break their will, that's what gets me excited.
He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. Can you guys look up for me if there are any 100-sack guys who are not in the Hall of Fame? Do you know, Calais, and we'll let you go here in a second, can you name the 5 guys or any of the 5 guys in the league who are older than you are?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers, that's for sure.
Yep.
I don't know if Dwayne Brown's still on the roster.
No, he's not. He's not on the list I have in front of me. There are 4 other guys. You're not expecting. One's a long snapper. One is a kicker. But one name I'm going to say, I want to get him on the show because I can't believe he's still in the league. Mercedes Lewis. Yeah. Like what the hell is that? You said you were going to get it anyways. Like what the hell is that guy still doing in the league? Who plays 20 years in that league?
Man, it's so impressive. It's so impressive. And he's. I mean, when you got the mentality he has, like he's cut from different cloth. Like he just loves this. Like you gotta, like it ain't, like it's not. You get to play as long as you want, like as long as I can. They gotta kick me at the lead because I love it so much. That's just especially like now I got kids and stuff, so they might be able to make me retire a little earlier. But and Mercedes does too. But we talked to him. Like I was just talking to him a few weeks back. And it's just like the love we have for the game is just unique, and I wish everybody had it like that. But you realize that most guys don't. But when you love the game like we do, man, they got to kick us out the league.
There are a great deal of players that aren't in the Hall of Fame that have 100 sacks.
Cam
However,
Lake.
None of them have had 94 sack seasons like Calais is preparing to have this season for the Miami Dolphins.
And I will say though, for the because I played more interior than I played on the edge throughout my career, and I've played both, obviously. But interior guys with over 100 sacks, it's a way smaller number. I don't think there might be one that's on the Hall of Fame.
Preach.
But the interior is a lot more.
Yes, a correction that is worth making there.
We'll probably go in with a class that is just like outside of the Aaron Donald. So like it'll be fresh in everybody's mind in terms of interior guys with 100 sacks.
there's 44 guys who've had 100 sacks who are not in the Hall of Fame.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's telling us that the edge rushers get it cheap sometimes, though, is what he's saying. He's saying get it.
I mean, Pat Swilling not being in the Hall of Fame is a joke. That guy was one of the dominant edge rushers of all time. He was a great outside linebacker, right, Calais? He agrees.
Thank
right?
you, excellent. And
There's a few guys that I feel like they got a good chance to get in, and it makes you realize, like, it's not, it's no guarantees. It's tough, I mean, I know. My mindset is, do more to make sure, because I there's no guarantee I get in, which is just kind of a humbling thing to think about, but something that I've always wanted and I hope I get, but at the same time, like, realistically, I mean, it's tough, I mean, you gotta be the best of the best for a long time. And I feel like I've always left my heart on the field and gave everything I had. And I think if you look at just like the numbers and stuff, like, I got a case, but if you look at the impact and like, the way I played the game and, the way my team was affected by the way I played the game, I think I got a lot better chance.
Or the voice puts him in the Friendly Monster Hall of Fame for all time. We will let you go on this note. Do you agree with this or disagree with this? I am saying that the kickers should, we were talking about this earlier in the week, the kickers in the NFL should not be in the Hall of Fame. They should have a guest house behind the Hall of Fame that is made adjacent by a walkway, and they can get from their Hall of Fame behind the Hall of Fame in the area behind it, but they shouldn't be in the actual Hall of Fame where the people are playing football and enduring the collision. Do you agree or disagree with that?
My man Justin Tucker, who I think will be in the Hall of Fame one day, I think that, I got to give him some love. He can come hang with me, man. He's an entertaining cat. So they come in. We hopefully we get in there together. We
All
can.
right, a one-time exception that you're making for an old teammate because you love him. The rest of the kickers, though, out back. They're going to be out back. Calais, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate the time, sir. And it really has been a pleasure to watch you work over the last 20
I can't believe
years.
he's the old guy now.
20 years.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yes.
That makes us the old guys, too. You realize
Older.
that.
Yes.
If he's the old guy, then we're the old guys. We're the older guys. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. It's always a pleasure.
How is Clyde Simmons not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, think about that.
I can't believe there are 40 dudes with 100 sacks not in the Hall of Fame.
The great thing is during that segment, during that interview, Tony realized it just dawned on him how great Bruce Smith was.
Holy shit.
Yo, you need to see that video of Bruce Smith doing that interview where he falls backwards.
Yes,
It's
in
wild.
Buffalo local television. Just play this at the end right now. The video of Bruce Smith falling down. It hurts to play that game. Sometimes you got to self-medicate. You go do a local interview and you just fall on the floor.
All right, so I'm going to take you guys through the lifespan here of me becoming a father. And we had a milestone yesterday. I was at the doctor with my wife, and we did the anatomy scan for our baby. And it's crazy that you can see at this age, like or whatever it is. I don't know how you would do it in weeks or whatever. But like when they do the sonogram, like you can see everything, the little spinal cord. You can see like the little legs and the little arms. The dad's in the room. Like when you guys first saw the baby in the womb with the sonogram stuff and you saw like all the little fingers and little toes and little face and all that, like how was it? Because it was crazy for me.
I started crying. But
really?
I saw two. Yeah.
Is that why you started crying? Because you saw two?
Yeah, there was two in there. Yeah.
But you did it at such a different time, Stu. Like, I feel like medicine is so much more advanced now. Billy, I feel like you, Roy, I feel like you guys have more of like the modern medicine view of the sonogram and stuff. Like, how do you guys feel when you saw that little like thing that actually is a human now?
Saw the heartbeat and everything. It was,
yeah.
It was tremendous. It really was tremendous. Seeing Claire in the room there.
Princess Claire.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, this is her little leg, and this is like her little femur bone, and like this is this, and like it looks like an actual human, but it's like so tiny. She's like, yeah, she's 11 ounces, and I'm like, oh, damn, okay, so less than a pound.
I had it weird because like my wife got pregnant
in
with our
COVID.
daughter. Yeah, so like she was born in 2021, but like the months leading up to it, like I couldn't even go into the appointment, so like I had to do it on FaceTime, like sitting in the parking lot, which is like really weird. But it was strange. Like we just did like the regular ones. I don't know if you guys got like or you're doing like the 3D ones and all of that stuff yet. Because like even from when we had our first daughter, things have changed. And it's
to the
crazy.
second one.
Yeah.
What did you see the most?
If I'm gonna be honest with you, second one, I didn't get enough sonogram pictures.
Really?
They used to do like the printout, you get it, and
The
then
second
have,
one
like,
always
the frame.
gets robbed. Yeah,
I don't know what
always.
was going on there.
Right.
I wasn't getting as many sonograms. I wasn't getting as much. I mean, I wasn't getting any at
What's
all.
going on there is been there, done that. Like the first one.
No, but
there's
the doctor.
excitement.
Yeah, but like, you think the doctors knew? Like, oh, this is number 2. We don't need to bother with this.
The doctor knows
because this was a different. This is like, I think there was like a change in insurance or something. So it was like an insurance. Like it was a different practice, I believe. Right? Is that right? I don't remember. But I think it was a different office. It was a different practice. So like, do they just see, like, sometimes we went with my daughter, oh, this is number 2, we don't have to try that hard?
Either that or a bad doctor. I mean, should have went
Maybe.
back to the first doctor
Well.
who cared a little bit more, you know?
They gave me
Right.
CDs like of
CDs?
the sonogram and stuff. Yeah,
You know,
it's like
listen
here
to it in your friggin' 98 Honda Civic. What are you
Exactly
talking
right
about?
with the muffler. With the
Yeah.
muffler kit. So they gave me a CD or a DVD or whatever. They're like, hey, just put this into like whatever. And I'm like, dude, I don't have a DVD player. Like, what do you want me to do with this? Put it in my computer? Like, okay, with 2001, am I Neo in the Matrix? Like,
Did anything, like, Jess, I have a question for you because I feel like you know the answer to this and I don't know why. Did anything have like a less of a shelf life than Blu-rays? So like DVDs had like a moment, right? And then there was like
They had a
Blu-rays.
run, yes.
But Blu-rays was like, never mind streaming. So like Blu-rays had like 4 years and then
Cup
it
of
was
coffee.
like, never mind.
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah.
We can just do this on streaming.
Yeah.
I feel like we got rid of the CD player before anyone was ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that CDs
I
are going to
do.
have a comeback like the record player?
I don't know because I don't think things sound like the thing with the vinyl record players is that people say that it sounds different and it sounds better. And I have a vinyl record player and I would agree with that. Like you get a fuller sound from it. I don't know if that's the case with CDs.
But it sounds in HD,
versus
is it
streaming.
not?
So there's like a difference between where you're playing like streaming from too. Like I've heard that Apple Music has a more like fuller sound,
sound,
really.
than like Spotify does, for example.
Love iTunes.
Love
I don't
them
know.
both,
This
honestly.
is all more technical than I really understand. But my favorite part of the segment so far was Tony telling Stu he's like his kids were born before modern medicine.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't
ultrasounds have
understand
been
that
around
either.
for
I
like
didn't get
60,
that.
70
No,
years.
no.
Forever. I
Yes,
mean-
but to Billy's point, like even from his first kid to his
Yeah.
second, which are what 2 years apart.
I was trying to save you because Stugotz is not that old.
His kids
Like,
are not that old.
yeah.
Not that he's
Right.
that old,
Exactly.
but
That's
guys,
the
His
thing.
kids
Like
are-
our
How
parents
how
are
old are
different.
Rachel Emma? How old are Rachel and Emma?
They're 20.
Okay,
They were
so
born in 2004, right?
Yes.
okay, so 2004 to 2024, we have massive leaps in sonogram and all of those baby things.
We were talking about ultrasounds though.
Yeah.
Right. Been around forever.
Yeah.
That's-
No,
I said
no,
sonogram.
definitely not have been around forever.
I'll take not that old. I will take that at this stage of my life.
Yeah.
It's not that old.
But in modern medicine, it's very old. 20 years of modern medicine might as well be 200.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Same with gymnastics, I feel like.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
If you're 20, you're old.
Did you guys see
Exactly.
they banned a move in gymnastics where like it was on the parallel bars where like the gymnast would stand on the taller bar and then just do a backflip, like jump off the bar, do a backflip, and then grab onto it and then keep
What?
going?
They banned it?
They banned it.
'Cause
Like
it was
in like
too
the
dangerous?
80s, I guess. Yeah, it was too dangerous. You got to find it. There's banned moves. Yeah.
God, I love the Olympics. I love learning about all these different sports. I'm locked into indoor volleyball right now, and Danny Benitez is teaching me about
Sure.
volleyball shoes.
Matt Anderson,
during
the
the
GOAT.
break.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The problem is you won't care about these sports for another 4 years.
And
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
matter.
true. I know.
But
And
for
it
a
doesn't
week.
matter.
All
But for
right,
2
you're right.
weeks, I'm locked in.
Dude, Matt Anderson, 6'10". Go down and grab a board, buddy. What are we doing?
Gold medalist, I think.
Grab a board.